This is day 4 of tasting a different Canadian wine every day until we get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, let's do it now. And let's get going on the Canadian wine that we're tasting today. Carl Boucher.
Woo-hoo! Today we're going to the south of the Okanagan. We're going on the Golden Mile. We're going in Oliver, British Columbia. And this is Hester Creek, the winemaker trilogy. The why. This is a very special project. Was very dear in Mark's Hopley's heart, the winemaker at Hester Creek, and this is 3 vintages in a row where Mark had carte blanche. He could make whatever you want with the budget. Nah, not the budget you want, but substantial budget, completely backed by the owner. That was a winemaker passion project. And why it's the second of the trilogy. So we had the X on the first year from the 2020 vintage. It was Petit Verdot, Malbec, and I believe that the third grape was maybe can't remember the third grape, but I know for a fact that the Y, it's an homage at the South Okanagan Syrah. So we have the Petit Verdot, we have the Malbec, and we have the Syrah. So that's the blend. More precisely, 66% Petit Verdot, 20% Malbec, and 14% of Syrah. All Golden Mile fruits, which is the very best appellation of the South Okanagan in Oliver. Mira Boucher, how are you doing? Great to have you. And I'm really gonna. Yeah, you are. That's exciting. Wow. You remember
because we're about to open a big dog. I mean, the last few days, it's day 4 of our challenge, right? To get to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So if you're tuning in from Facebook or Instagram, maybe hop on down into the comments. I'm going to post the link to get to YouTube. We'd love for you to subscribe. We started with about 412 followers. We're now at 418. Every follower counts. In fact, I could even start reading out names of followers or their handle, right? So thanks so much, you guys. We're going to get to 1,000, however long it takes. And we will taste a different bottle every day. The last 3 days, we tasted some great wines. We had on the first day, we talked about the...
First day, we did the Fair Oaks Reserve 2 Chardonnay. Because
from Ontario, from Niagara. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you know what? If we started a challenge that it had to be with a Chardonnay. It has to be with the Chardonnay. I love Chardonnay so much. So we started with Fair Oaks Reserve 2 because we're bringing that wine to Burgundy with us in the trip we're doing with members in June. So we started with that. Day number 2, we had another big dog. We had 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, also from the South Okanagan in Oliver, made by Fairview Cellar. That's the Iconoclast 2015, my number 3 wine of the year last year. So another big dog. Yesterday, we went at the opposite of the spectrum. What we did? We did the best value wine we've had in many years. So we tasted 2 $16.75 Canadian, a white blend and a red blend. And I mean, an amazing wine for the price point. So yesterday we had a conversation about value wine. What does value wine mean? What does it mean for me? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for every one of us? So it was a really cool conversation. But today I'm going straight back to the big and bold, with incredible ageability as well. And I mean, I'm reading stuff. I know that I tasted the X. The X is a big boy, a real big boy. I remember giving the X, I think, was 94 points. And it was on my on my top 10. I think it was my number 10 wine of the year 3 years ago. So with like really awesome wine. So now I'm very excited to be able to taste the following So the vintage following, so that's from the 2021 vintage. And like we mentioned, this is Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Syrah. And the why, and that's interesting because if you know the why they call it the X, Y, and Z, this is because that's the latitude and longitude of the exact vineyard where it's come from. So for the Y, like look at that, right?
That's pretty cool, hey?
That is really, really cool. So that's what we have here. So, oh, I like the punt. Like there's a big kick, sponge right underneath there. For wine directors, for sommelier in restaurant, this is a lot of fun to get a bottle like that so you can pour it nicely to your customer.
Ooh, because you get good grip when the punt is big like that. You can stick your whole thumb in there.
So here, that's mine. And Mira, I will pour you a glass.
Oh, you don't have to say, come get the wine twice. I will be right there to get my wine.
You got to come here. You got to get the wine because I'll tell you something. What's coming out of that glass, the aromas are absolutely off the chart. Holy smokes. We know that we have something big and bold in there.
Big, beautiful red.
There you go. Cheers to that. Cheers to the South Okanagan.
Which is a real desert. So for those of you that don't know, if you're tuning in for the first time, we only taste Canadian wines here at Carl's Wine Club.
Sure
and we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we'd love for you guys to hit subscribe on our new channel there. And the South Okanagan, it's a real desert.
It is a real. It's the tip of the Sonora Desert from Washington State all the way up north. So yeah, we are the extension.
What that means is big, kick-ass, bold reds in our glass.
There you go. And you know what? Some people said out there, "Oh, Canadian wines, you cannot even ripen the big grape varietals up there. It's way too cold in Canada. You can't ripen Cab Sauv. You can't ripen Malbec. You can ripen Merlot. You can't ripen Syrah. Like no matter like Petit Verdot. We don't even talk about Petit Verdot. Guess what? 60% Petit Verdot in that wine. 20% Malbec. So what we do all year long, we taste Canadian wines. We taste over 2,000 Canadian wines every year. And I can tell you, yes, we can ripen the big grape varietals. I mean, that Cabernet Sauvignon was the proof in the bottle. So now we're going to talk Petit Verdot because Petit Verdot is one of the latest ripened varietal. When you look at the whole spectrum of the grape varietals, Petit Verdot is usually the last one to come off the vines. Sometimes in November, depending on the vintage. So here we go. So what I will do here. So if you get your nose in that glass, you know there's new oak in there. You know. I know for a fact that there's 30 months of aging. I look in all of the spec, and I should have called Mark Hopley. I should have called him and maybe ask him to call on an interview because nowhere it's disclosed what's the ratio of new oak in there. I can tell you something. There's at least 50% new oak in there. It's on the nose. I love that. When I get to a big and bold red and I get a good whiff of oak, I love it. I love it. It puts me in the mood. It tells me that what's coming up is going to be rich, it's going to be I love the profile of the good French oak. So, I mean, I mentioned it at the beginning. This is a love project. This was a passion project for Mark. That was, he had that idea, that concept of every three consecutive years to showcase what's the best coming out of the Hester Creek Vineyard Holding, which varietal we're going to use this year. And I mean, I think that the Petit Verdot will be the common grape on all 3 years. And and they're going to build on that. So the Y, it's the second one. And I'm excited to see what's the Syrah's doing with the Petit Verdot and the Malbec, because usually it's not the Syrah who's acting as a companion for Petit Verdot and Malbec. You usually see Cab Sauv as a companion. You usually see Merlot or Cab Franc. So it's very interesting. Mira, what do you think of the nose?
Oh, well, I've already got the tasting. It is lovely. I love big reds from the South Okanagan. You know, I say even on a hot summer day, I love a nice big red. And I think this one is just so like rich and beautiful. And that series that they did, oh yeah, when Carl starts to dance like that with the wine, you know it's at least 93 points usually.
This is rock star level. Oh yeah, this is rock star level. Rich, plush, juicy. Oh, there's so much tobacco on the palate. The weight is absolutely perfect. I mean, it's not overly done. It's not heavy. There's great energy in the wine, but there's some good substance on the mid palate. The oak is shining, absolutely shining. So from front to back, I would say it's all on dark fruit. To me, it's dark fruit. There's a hint of floral, a little bit of a violet potpourri style, but like it's dark plum, it's dark cherry, it's black currant. And you got that cocoa, like almost more than cocoa. It's more espresso coffee. You know, that grind espresso coffee. That's why I call it torrefaction. That it's right there in the mid palate. A little bit of cedar as well. And on the back end, there's spice. Not overly spicy. I would say very well balanced, great length. A little bit of evolution between white and black pepper, maybe a little bit of cinnamon. The vanilla is right there past the mid palate as well, who lingers. So you can see the effect of the oak on the finish. Definitely the spice comes out of that. I love the nose. Oh my God, this is awesome. So what I got here, I mean, Hester Creek, let's talk about the producer a little bit, because Hester Creek, that's what we're tasting. For people who's just joining us right now, this is the winemaker trilogy at Hester Creek winery down in Oliver on the Golden Mile. Hester Creek is fascinating to me because, I mean, they've been there for 25 years on the Golden Mile. They were part at the, not the very beginning of the South Okanagan wine industry, but let's say when things took off for real, Hester Creek was already well established. The best part of Hester Creek is they produce on both spectrum. They produce on the very good value wine. They have their character line that over delivers for the low $20, and they also produce very good wine at the $28 to $35. Their old vine series, but they also produce kick-ass premium wine. The Judge and the Garland are the two crown jewel of Hester Creek. It's two Bordeaux blends, one Merlot base with the Judge and the other one, the Garland, which is Cabernet Sauvignon base. It's a winery with a bigger production. I would say they probably produce around 80,000 cases, which is a very big production for the Okanagan Valley. It's independent winery. That's very important to mention. It's not part of any of the three big group, which is Artera, Mark Antony, and Peller Estates, who own many different estates. No, it's an independent winery owned by one person, unfortunately, who passed very recently, but has a decently big production at around 80,000 cases. Wonderful spot, beautiful view on the valley, beautiful view on the Black Sage Bench, also across the valley. And we had the pleasure, we had the privilege to do our Pan Canadian Wine Masterclass second edition. The BC edition was held at Hester Creek in the barrel room with 60 wine enthusiasts from all over Canada, which was absolutely fantastic. Great team. The general manager, Roger, is fantastic. And I love Mark Hopley, the winemaker. He's been there for a long time. He knows the product. For me, Hester Creek produced a sensational Merlot and Cap Franc. I mean, the Judge and the Garden, the two premium wines, are fantastic. They also do some cool little Pinot Blanc sparkling, which is very popular around here. They have good old vines, Cap Franc. That's really, really sharp. I remember having a 2009 recently, which is still holding up really, really nicely. There's Syrah. So that old vine series are around $35. Wonderful bang for your buck. So here we're at the super top of their portfolio. There's no more expensive wine than that at Hester Creek. This is $100 a bottle, but extremely limited production. I think they made something like 225 cases of that, and it's been allocated and already sold out at the wine club. They're doing an incredible job with their wine club, one of the top wine club in the in BC. Also, they have a fantastic restaurant on site at the Terrafina restaurant. And yeah, a very diverse, well-built portfolio. I would say they probably produce 20 different SKUs. So very well done. I love those pictures, Mira. Thank you so much for enhancing the experience here with some of our pictures from the Pan Canadian Masterclass 2 years ago.
So we brought them a wine from Ontario to taste that time when we met with them. They took us all around. They do see here where this kitchen is. They actually do cooking classes with their head chef and paired with their wines. It's pretty spectacular. And here we were where Mark Hopley here, the winemaker, is taking us around tasting things. This was now a few years ago. So I think this wine that we're tasting now, I think we tasted it in barrel on that day. Is that right, Carl?
We sure did. We sure did. Mark was so proud. That's what we heard about the story of the X, the Y, and the Z. But at that point, I remember that conversation like if it was yesterday. They didn't have a name for it. They didn't know how they're going to name it, but the concept was designed. There was just barreling the third one, I think, when we tasted the version of the Y in barrel. And I believe that the Z coming up in 2020, next year in 2026, the third grape is Sangiovese, I believe. Yeah, amazing box here. That was the X package.
The first one, the X. We're tasting the Y, and the Z is coming out. I don't think the Z's come out, but it's also meant to.
No, the Z is going to be out next year.
Right. So I think it's meant to relate to.
Oh, wait a minute.
Latitude, longitude, and elevation. Right.
Exactly. But wait a minute. We're in 26. We're in 2026. So yeah, the Z is coming up this year.
I can check their website. We can see.
Oh, yeah. No. I know for a fact because they gave me that bottle last year.
There's the winemaker, Mark Hopley. And there we are at Hester Creek doing the Pan Canadian tasting, which was spectacular, you guys. Look at this. Look what they did for us. They emptied their barrel room. You see those barrels that are all around? That was like full on the inside, too. They took all those barrels out from that room for us. It must have been a huge task. And,
Mark said it took them a weekend to like 3 days to make sure that the room was clear for the event. It was incredible. We had winemakers from Nova Scotia traveling out west. I mean, this was fantastic. Roger Gillespie, the general manager, is an absolute beauty. I like that guy. That guy's like so efficient. So yeah, one of our favorite winery out there, because like I mentioned earlier, like you guys, like they produce entry level, extremely well priced value wine, just like we tasted yesterday, like the 1675 Vantage that we tasted yesterday. Esther Creek has their version at around $19 to $21. And what's important to understand is on the grand scales, the price of the wine in BC are always higher than the price in Ontario. So yeah, this here, I mean, we're going to give it a score before I'm just keep debating. I'm at 94 points for that wine. This is just so freaking good.
It is good. What did you give the X? Because this is Y. X, Y, Z. What did you
I
give
think
the
I gave the X. I might have give the X a 93 plus, I believe.
Okay, let me check. Because that will be in our archive. All you collector members have access to that. So we can see. Hester Creek, the X, right? Might not be in the archive.
It should be in the archive, and let me know what's the third grape. Oh, as well. I have a blank. I can't remember what was the third grape.
So the X is not in the archive, but let's see. Was it in your? Yeah, it was in your top 10 wines, honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And you give it 93 points, so you're bang on.
There you go.
And it's
I'm at 94 with the Y.
Yeah, it was a Petit Verdot dominant blend built for long-term cellaring. Equally impressive cult following right at release.
Yeah, the X, Y, and the Z are three of them are Petit Verdot dominant.
Incredible. That is super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. So I mean, what I love with that wine, Mira, it's rich, it's bold, it's powerful, but there's some finesse in there. It's not just a punch in the face. It's not overly done. There's a beautiful acidity in there. The alcohol is not too high. It's not a hot wine. And you had to be careful because 2021 was a weird year where we had a historic heat spike who started in June. We had some temperature at over 50 degrees here in the Okanagan for a long period of time. So the vines shut down. It was like for growers and winemakers, they've never seen that in the past. We saw many heat dome here in the Okanagan. It's a yearly thing, but it never happened that early in the year. The grapes were not grapes yet. Like the vines were still flowering. So it was a very weird thing. And especially for reds, people were worried in the industry. But I mean, some of the reds of the 2021 are amazing. And this is part of this. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, it's great. It's definitely a 93 pointer, like you said. It's definitely still a baby.
I'm at 94.
I can't believe we opened this baby. Oh, you said 94. You're right. Yeah, I can't believe we opened this baby. It is still a baby, but it is spectacular. And I can see where it's going. And I love it. Like it's like dark chocolate and like very
that little bit of meatiness too.
Well. Yeah, I love the flowers on the nose that you get with Petit Verdot. Like Petit Verdot on the nose, you think, oh, it's so perfumed and it's so, and then you taste it and you're like, wow, it's so big and bold too.
That is genius. It is so freaking good. That might even be 94 plus. Like we'll see how it opens up, but this is so freaking good. Holy smokes. And let's put it that way. At $100, that wine is better be good. Because I have a very high freaking expectation for that price point. It's not a $25 wine. This is a wine that has to be really good. And it delivers. It absolutely delivers every single penny. That, to me, it's critical when you have the balls to produce a wine at that price. Because it's just starting in Canada to have wines at $100. It was not a thing 5 years ago. The
I was
super
going to say, when
premium.
we started the club, there were maybe like 3 wineries that we knew of making a wine over $100. It was really, and people were like, oh, really? Is it really worth it? I don't know. But you know what? Good on those wineries. They were the first. It was so worth it. And more we're seeing more wineries put their wines at that price point, because it is. The more we taste comparatively too with international wines, we're like, wow, a lot of our wines are really underpriced.
This is super Tuscan material. This is super Tuscan material in some sort. I really like the structure, and it's soft. There's some structure, there's some acid, but the tannins are soft. It's silky. The texture is beautiful. And to me, at $100, if you want to deliver, you gotta have an amazing texture. That's what leads me to the term premium. If you're in the premium price category and you don't deliver texture, you're missing the mark. And that, you're bang on. You are absolutely bang on. I love that.
Oh, it's got such nice savoriness too.
I know, right? A little bit of like sage. Maybe sage also.
Yes. A bit of sage at the very, very end. It's got a little bit of that savoriness. It's really nice. Very awesome.
Sorry, I'm just going back to it. Yeah, I mean, Esther Creek is one of the, like I said, one of our very favorite from the South Okanagan. Always deliver. Mira, what was your best memory from Esther Creek? Does anything come back quick to your head when you think Esther Creek?
I think it was that time when we tasted this in barrel, and the Sangiovese that they had in barrel already at that point. One of the first Sangiovese.
They just released it this week. They just released the Radici.
Hester Creek, yes, they just did. So I think those, and of course, like you saw this, you guys. I mean, the event we did there was quite magical. It really was. They did an amazing job clearing out that entire barrel room so we could have our big tasting in there. And it was just magical, having winemakers from across the country, having members from across the country. Like, that's got to be one of my very favorite moments right there. Look at that. So good. And Dylan was just on, Dylan and Cavell. That's where we met them for the first time as well. So yeah, it was pretty spectacular stuff.
Yeah, we tasted the judge. The Esther Creek wine at the Pan Canadian was the judge that year. We had the 2020 Esther Creek the Judge, which is a Meritage. Oh, wow. Sorry. Meritage Merlot dominant.
So this bad boy is young. The X from Hester Creek is what we're tasting today for day 4 of our tasting marathon. Only Canadian wines, guys. At least one every day until we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So by the way, hit that subscribe button. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, head over to YouTube and hit subscribe. Please get us to 1K, because then we can do even more fun stuff after that. Like, we won't stop tasting Canadian wine. Don't worry. But yeah, it's a baby. And you know what? We popped and poured this baby for $100 wine. You want to probably decant it for at least, what, an hour?
Oh, at least. I should have get my Enovino. I just walk up here and I realized we were live. And I'm like, oh, darn it. I don't have my Enovino.
So that's okay, because we're not going to be able to drink the whole bottle. And so we're going to, you know, when you decant a wine, you kind of got to drink it. So what we'll do is we'll use the Enovino. It decants it 1 glass at a time. And we will also let this wine in my glass sit. And I bet in an hour or two, it's going to be just starting to open up even more. Tracy's got a great question. Is there Trebbiano coming back? The Trebbiano.
That's a very good question, Tracy.
You know, it's a great question, because that was such a popular wine for them. And probably my guess is with the deep freeze of 2024, a lot of those old vines were damaged.
Yeah, they were damaged, and especially in that area, a lot has died and had to be pulled. So that's a very good point, Tracy. And I know that you're going to be part of our Bellaterra Zoom tasting on Thursday, I'm going to go to the source. I'm going to text Mark Hopley, the winemaker, and I'm going to ask about the Trebbiano. I'm going to get you the answer in the next couple of days, because that's what we do, because we are very connected with a lot of wineries across the country. So I'll get you the answer about that. But a very good question.
It's a great question, because I think it's one of their most popular wines and a varietal that doesn't happen very often in Canada. They might be the only ones that make Trebbiano in Canada. I don't know.
But they won big award as well for the Pinot Blanc Sparkling.
Oh yes, they make some incredible ones, but the Trebbiano is super interesting. Yes, favorite for Tracy, and I think favorite for lots of people. Yeah, with 2024, I can see how they might have had to either skip a vintage so the vines can recover, or if those poor old vines passed, if they had to be pulled out, I'm curious if they're replanting or not. So yeah, we will find out, and we'll let you know on Thursday when you come for the Zoom tasting with the winemaker at Bellaterra Vineyards from Ontario, from Niagara on the Lake. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's Thursday night for members. A lot of you guys
Thursday night. Most of them already have. Yeah, so most of them already have their tasting packs arrive at their house, and so day 4, what we cracked open the winemaker trilogy at Esther Creek. This is a 94 points Carl's Wine Club. This is a wine that will age for easy 20 years. I can tell you just that, and this is an absolute beauty. So there you go. I think we'll see you all tomorrow for day 5.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, you guys. Cheers. You have a great night.
Thank you, wine lovers. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll be on twice tomorrow, because tomorrow is also Wine Wednesday. And so we'll open a whole bunch of Bellaterra wines for tomorrow and for the Thursday night, where we'll do a Zoom with the winemaker. So if you haven't joined Carl's Wine Club, please subscribe on YouTube. Please visit carlswineclub.com. It's free to join, and we have a lot of fun discovering Canadian wines together. So cheers, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.